Hello everybody, welcome to the YouTube channel of the #1 Ultramarines fan, Iron Halo. In this video, we are going to be painting up Titus, Gadriel, and Mataris. Okay, as you can see, I have painted the black, silver, blue, and gold on these guys. And the reason I've done that is because in my other videos, I have done the very same thing, mostly in the how to paint Armageddon Eradicators, this guy here. And so, please go watch that video if you would like to see how I paint the blue, silver, black, and gold. Mostly, it's pretty basic, so we're going to skip past that part. We're going to get to the fun part, painting getting the rest of the base coats on. Painting the red, the white, getting the tabards done, getting the Tarouges done, getting the tilt shields all painted up, and once we are done that, we can come back and we will take a look at them then. Alright guys, so as you can see, we've gone a little past base coating here, and I've actually washed everything and begun highlighting the blue and the black on these three chaps here. As you can see, yeah, we've skipped past a couple of the boring parts here, and now you can see how they look, and I think it's pretty good so far. Obviously, I need to fix up the Ultimas on his Tarouges, but so far, we're looking pretty snazzy. The blue's all highlighted, so is the black, aside from his hair. And here is what the main part of the cape looks like. You can see we got some nice blending on there. And then we got the gun here. We got the sword here. And then, just gonna brush past him, but we've got Mataris and his shield here. You can see I've done that checkered pattern, got everything on the armor nice and highlighted up. I think I actually missed the other shoulder pad, but I'll do that as I continue on. And then we've got Gadriel here with his snazzy helmet, and I've base coated his hair and his skin, as you can see, and all of his tabard and cloak and parchment all over him, and I've highlighted his gun, as you can see. And then we have the banner itself here, which I think is looking pretty good so far. Of course, we need to add the text detail on the two outer limbs of this banner, but we've got the text there blacked out. I'm gonna layer over that with some more gassed bone to make it look a little more clean. And then we've got the back, all the folds highlighted. The hand, of course, is highlighted as well. And it's looking pretty good so far. So as we continue on, I will continue updating, and there will be more painting footage. Alrighty guys, not to date this video too bad, but it is Thursday night. I just got home from work. My hands are dirty, and these guys need to get done. So one thing I've forgotten to mention as, like, till now is that Titus's base actually needs to get done before I put the cape on, because the cape hangs low enough that I'm not going to be able to get between his legs right there very well. Also, I didn't highlight the back of his leg there because it's mostly going to be covered by the cape. But yeah, so I need to get the basing done tonight as well. So I'm going to literally put sand on his base, and then we'll frickin' get more painting done, get these guys done tonight, and we'll do a review when they are finished. Alrighty. Cue the painting footage. Alrighty guys, I just highlighted up all the red, and I just want to show off this cape that I did. I think it looks pretty good. You know, it definitely could be better, but you know what? There are many like it, but this one is mine. And also, of course, on Titus himself, as we see here. Here he is, got his cape, got his tassel there. He's looking like he's getting close to done, so this is good. Main thing I'm scared about is their faces, of course, but yeah, we've got the hilts of the swords all done, the tilting shield is all done there. Again, the face is a little bit nerve-wracking. One thing is that I've been accidentally kind of touching along the side of the banner here, even though I shouldn't. And I need to rebase coat and re-highlight that. And then also, of course, I edited his freaking tilt plate iconography a little. So, and the other side it looks like too. So maybe I'll wait to do that at the very end. But yeah, I also got his helmet's lenses there. So now I think I'm gonna move on to like the green and other stuff. Oh yeah, all the purity seals and the parchment that comes with them. So obviously getting in there is going to be a little bit difficult. I don't think I'm gonna just like I didn't get the other side of this Ultima here, but if I didn't point that out, you wouldn't have been able to tell. So you know what, let's get it. Alright guys, I'm fucking fuming right now. Okay, do you want to know what pisses me off more than anything else about a miniature? It has got to be shitty capes. Okay, look at that atrocity right there. Look at that atrocity right there. No normal hobbyist can just fix that. Look at that atrocity right there. Look at that line right there. Oh my god, it looks terrible. Dude. Looks like shit. The base is unfinished for now. Okay, the base is unfinished for now. And it's gonna stay that way for a minute. I think I'll paint the Thousand Suns head on stream. I just needed to get the gravel underneath the cape done. But like, dude, either do a cape that is one piece or don't do a cape at all, Games Workshop. I mean, this is ridiculous. That's ridiculous. There's a gigantic gap because I couldn't paint it without sub-assemblies. And they could have made it so that the sub-assemblies were favorable to putting a cape on, right? Like, they could have put this part of the cape on this part of the arm, but instead, they decided to make a Space Marine as if it were a 3D puzzle, rather than an actual Space Marine. And it kind of ruins the paint job, unless you're looking at it from a specific angle. But if you turn it at all, boom, there's a gap all the way up his shoulder. Boom, there's a gap on the back of the cape. Boom, there's a gap on the front-facing part of the cape. Like, what the fuck, dude? Screw this. I'm done with this miniature, mostly. I just have to do the text on his leg right down there. I'm in a pretty bad mood about Titus over there. I hope that when Space Marine 3 comes out, maybe they'll... Or when Space Marine 2 comes out... No, yeah, Space Marine 3, sorry. If Space Marine 3 comes out and they're like thinking of doing a new miniature for their campaign, you know, maybe they'll consider giving Titus a revamp, because this is ridiculous. Nothing peeves me off, nothing pisses me off more than capes that are in multiple parts. Just to bring out a couple miniatures we've seen in the past here, you've got the Victrix Guard, which does have a cape in multiple parts, right? Sorry. They do have a cape that is in multiple parts, right? Like, you can see right there, there's a bit of cape right there. But that's, like, mandatory. And honestly, you could make it so that the sub-assemblies are, like, you have the arm, the shield, or the shoulder, and the cape, and this little tassel here as one part, right? But on Titus, you know, there's no possible way of doing that without, you know, screwing up your miniature. And then, you know, taking this away, and, you know, Calgar, which came out before Titus, you know, cape is one piece. I mean, come on, Games Workshop. Come on. What are we doing? You know, the Praetor from literally like 6 years ago now. Dude, this is one piece. You're telling me you can't engineer that? That's a lie. If they're telling me that they couldn't possibly have engineered this miniature to have a cape that actually looks good, I mean, that's just a lie. Anyways, enough of me yapping about it freaking being bad. All in all, these minis are great. If I were a better hobbyist, I would probably have been able to fix that myself. But as it stands, I'm not really able to right now. I think this is my favorite. This is my first favorite of the bunch. It's Mataris here. I did glue the shoulder on a little bit early, so his eyes are a bit wonky there, but from the outside angle, it doesn't look that bad. I mean, yeah, this miniature is simple. It's overall just fun to paint. And then we have Gadriel here, and I'll do Gadriel, and then we'll take a look at his banner. And I still have a little bit of work to do, like I said, but you know, Gadriel's also a pretty simple miniature, but also very fun to paint. Right, a little bit less fun just because the freaking the way he's built kind of sucks. And you can't really build him in sub-assemblies other than his banner and his power pack. Yeah, so these guys are mostly done, so I'm just going to finish them up, and then we will do final review, and we will finish out the video from there. Alright guys, as you can see, Titus and the two Astartes, Wardens of Ultramar, are complete. A review of the miniatures, I'll say, here's a look at Gadriel. Building them was pretty fun. Not intuitive in the slightest. They were not designed very well. So, the reason I say that is because this arm on Gadriel cannot be a sub-assembly. Okay. The cape on Titus, you have no choice but to sub-assembly, because otherwise you can't reach the back of the miniature. And on Mataris, things are just designed a little bit weird. But it's better than the other two, I'll say. So, I'll be the first to admit I'm not very good at scribble text, so please excuse that. But for Gadriel, it was pretty fun to paint. I did not enjoy painting in between his thigh and his gun without having a sub-assembly there. But what I did enjoy was painting the helmet and actually getting the laurels on the banner all done. And yeah, this was a pretty fun miniature to get banged out. I'm glad he's in my force. Would I paint this again? Probably not. Just for the sheer unenjoyability of this. I don't know. Something about these minis is just not very fun to paint. Mataris is probably the strongest example in the entire group here. I love him. He looks great. You know, I highlighted the sword up. Easy as pie to paint, really. So actually, I'm gonna compare him to a blade guard, like a regular blade guard veteran. And as you can see, they fit up pretty well, right? Like they stand pretty much the same height, and you know, they've got similar detailing all over them. He's basically just a blade guard veteran, right? Just with a fancy base. So we've got Gadriel, and if it will fit, we've got the banner of Macragge here. So you can see the banner of Macragge is quite a bit taller, and it's really raised up, right? Not only because it is physically longer, but also because the banner pole itself is just much better. You can see it's got a nice handle grip back there, whereas the banner of the second company does not really have one of those, pardon me. And then another comparison we have here is from the Horus Heresy, the Command Squad kit. And actually the Command Squad kit's banner is the same size, but the actual ornamentation on the top is bigger, I think. So there's that as well. Also, I left this banner on because it's gonna be a breeze to paint because it's nice and flat for ease of painting, and you know, they've left the back fairly bare other than the hand. So, you know, whereas, you know, the banner of the second company is right up close to Gadriel, the banner from the Command Squad is actually fairly far out from the legionary who is holding it. So you can see the difference there. You can definitely get a brush in there and not in there. So painting this as one will be a really nice change of pace. And then the next thing to compare is going to be Titus himself, which I already spoke my gripes about his cape, but other than that, overall this miniature is pretty fun. I love his chain sword and his bolter, although I don't know why they designed the bolter like that. In the art it looks different. In the art his armor just looks different as well, and his Teruges as well. I don't know why they did that. But, you know, the detailing on the back of the cape looks really good, of course, and, you know, I can't really complain much about, you know, the actual art style of this miniature. It's just, you know, it's a pretty good captain miniature. He's got that cool fur cloak. It looks very regal. And then we've got, I'm going to compare Titus to a couple things here. So we've got Titus and a Terminator. You can see he actually stands above the Terminator because of his scenic base. And then Titus and an actual lieutenant, you know, and just comparing their backs, you know, cape versus no cape, right? Like, I honestly think they should have just done a capeless Titus. I'm not sure why they had to add a cape, but that's neither here nor there. And then we've got Titus versus a regular Primaris Space Marine, which, you know, if you have Titus leading your army, you're going to have tons of these guys next to guys like Titus. So as you can see, we got 3rd Company. Don't mind the Black Templar insignia. He's got an Ultima on him somewhere. There it is. So yeah, you can see just versus a regular Primaris Space Marine, he stands a good head and shoulders above them, again because of that nice scenic base. And then a pretty unique one here, if you have your kit bash characters or anything like that, you can see this is my Judicar. Yeah, it's like they're about the same height, just because that Judicar is based on the Armageddon Chaplain, who is already leaping into the air, and then Titus himself, who is just standing there on, again, a scenic base. I think these are great. You know, I think that Titus will stand proudly with my other Ultramarines, even if his cape is a little bit segmented. And, you know, these minis were just kind of fun to paint. So, you know, 5 out of 10 for painting, or 5 out of 10 for building, just because, you know, the lack thereof, and also the forcing of sub-assemblies was not very cool. Except for Mataris, of course, he's my perfect boy. And then, in terms of painting, 7 out of 10, which is pretty solid still. Just the only reason it's a 7 and not like an 8 or a 9 is because of the sub-assemblies again. You know, that just makes it really difficult to paint certain areas, except for Mataris, of course, who was, you know, has a fairly broad stance there if you remove the shield. And then, you know, in terms of, you know, fitting them together, 0 out of 10. I had to do extensive work on Titus to get him to look the way he does now. So, other than that, these will go on the shelf and on stream at Iron Halo Live on Twitch. We are going to paint the rest of that base and get that Thousand Sun head knocked out of the park. But until then, I will see you guys in the next video. Goodbye for now.